Okay guys, welcome to a Dr. Octobeard film short. In this short video, I'm going to be exploring the relationship between shot types and shot sequences.
It's pretty. It's so pretty.
Shot types tend to be controlled by three key decisions. How distant is the camera from the object? How much of the object is in frame? What is the angle of the camera in relation to the object?
Oh my god.
There are practically thousands of different combinations of these three things, but some of them get used so frequently that they have become known as shot types. One common shot type is the wide shot. This can be used to show a lot of things happening at once, or to immerse the audience in grand, sweeping scenery. Like here in Mad Max. For some wide shots, special cameras or lenses are needed to fit it all in. Wide shots can also be used to isolate the main character and make them seem small and insignificant, or else vulnerable. In the 1976 film All the President's Men, two reporters investigate a corrupt US president. The director, Alan Pakula, wanted to express the size of the task facing these two men taking on the institution, so all of the shots of public buildings were shot in super wide format to make them seem big, important and imposing against the small characters of Woodward and Bernstein. The next type of shot is a mid-shot. This is used to show something in a little more detail, so the audience has an idea of what is going on in a scene. It can also establish which characters are present in the scene, or where more important objects are in relation to each other. Some directors like to film the whole sequence in mid-shot before reshooting with tighter and wider angles. Having the whole scene in mid-shot means there is always something to cut back to. Another common shot type is the two-shot. This is used when any two characters are in frame, usually talking to one another. A common way of filming this is from behind one person's head, with the frame mostly on the person who is speaking. But it can sometimes be useful to cut to other angles to make the scene less boring.
How fast can you slap something together and meet me at the airport? Need to get out of town, pronto.
Shot sequences are several different types of shot run together in order to tell a story. One of the most common pairings is an establishing shot and a master shot. Establishing shots aim to show the audience where the action is taking place. They establish location or mood or situation or anything else that the audience needs to know. Wide shots are often used as establishing shots, and they frequently show exteriors. Once the location has been established, it's important to establish who is in the scene, so the audience isn't surprised when someone suddenly starts talking.
I'll go.
This calls for a master shot. A master shot is usually a mid or wide shot that shows the relationship between characters or important objects in the scene. Except here in Infinity War, where the Russo brothers use a series of moving close-ups to achieve the same effect. In this example, characters who weren't in the original master shot keep cropping up for comic effect.
It would just be really good if you could go with someone else from the film. Otherwise, you're just a ginger kid walking around with sunburn.
I'll go with it.
All right. It's not ideal, but sure. Anyone got any objections to Ron and the albino kid going to Africa to do the appeal film?
Well, I'd like to go. I think the work that Comic Relief is doing is absolutely amazing.
So let's take a look at how these shot types and shot sequences work when you put them all together. In this scene from Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo, this shot serves as the establishing shot. We can see the word Shipbuilding Co. and the heavy machinery here, indicating that we are close to the sea. When we cut inside, the master shot shows Scotty talking to Gavin with similar heavy machinery visible in the window outside. This establishes the two of them in this scene, and the director can now begin cutting freely between them in their conversation.
Do it for a living.
No, but one assumes responsibilities.
We can see a similar thing here in Ghostbusters. The establishing shot of the Tribeca firehouse cuts to an interior master shot where Ray is showing Winston how to defuse the trap, and Egon is clearly visible in the background tinkering with something. Imagine if we had come in straight on this shot. The audience wouldn't understand where we are, what's going on, or who's in the scene.
Close, lock the system. Set your entry grid, neutralize your field, and the light is green, trap is clean.
Finally, if we take a look at Black Panther, this has two establishing shots. One that establishes the city, and then another one that establishes the location within the city, before we finally cut inside to the master shot. Here we can see several people, but as this man leaves the frame, this woman enters, indicating that she and Killmonger are the two important characters that we should focus on in this scene. The director can then begin cutting back and forth as the audience understands who the important characters are and where everything else is in the scene.
Where's this one from?
The Bobo Ashanti tribe, present-day Ghana, 19th century.
For real?
Once you've established the location and used a master shot to show who's in the scene, you can begin cutting around however you like.
We just got shot up by a girl!
Remember, these are not fixed rules so much as guidelines.
The code is more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules.
And artists will often break them for creative effect. Thanks for watching, though.